I don't think you should be banning anyone. I think anyone can say
Facebook
whatever
does, all the others
they
do.
want. No, because what the problem about it is that we have all of these social media places that are private companies. They can do and say and have any rules they want to have. But in the end, they are our literal lives. They are the media. That's dictatorship. You cannot have that.
And we're back.
Again, do you know what? Episode 13.
Oh, we better hurry up and get the next one out quick.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not superstitious. I couldn't care.
You're not superstitious?
No.
Me neither.
No, all crap.
Things just
Why-
happen when they happen, don't
Yeah.
they? You can't just
Oh, my
be like,
God.
oh, walk underneath a ladder. Like, that's just bad common sense, isn't it? It's not
All
nothing
these
to do with
sayings
bad
are just
luck.
made up. They're not
What, so
true.
you don't believe in bad
Walk
luck?
over 3 drains. What's all that about?
Yeah, I didn't say I don't believe in bad luck. There's bad luck. I'm not
That's superstitious then, is
No,
it
it's not. I don't think that's what it means.
My girlfriend's salute to a magpie. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
Do you know
One for
that's-
sorrow, two
I
for
don't
joy.
get it.
Do you know
Yeah,
it's fun-
what
it's-
sort of rubbish is that?
It's a song. That's all it's about. It's a nursery rhyme. It's ridiculous. Like, we say all these things and we say, like, that's the truth. None of it's the truth.
Of course it is. I get a lucky thing if you like this. I'll have luck the following for the rest of the day. Do you
Oh my
not
God.
do that?
No.
Oh.
No.
Because
Because I'm,
horoscope and that, yeah.
I make my
Love
own
it.
fate. I make my own fate. I don't have to worry about other people's.
I bet you're one of those people, Scott, who's scrolling through the Facebook feed. Oh, if you don't share this within 5 seconds, there's going to be
you
a
that
clown
person.
standing in the corner of your room.
Oh, wow.
Why not?
No.
Right, isn't it better to
No.
try than
No.
not to try at all?
No, wait. Now you're making up things. That
No, not at all.
in life, yeah.
What harm does it give you to, like...
What
if
you have to do
this?
all of them. So all these
No.
superstition things. So you're then say picking and choosing which ones you want to do and which ones you don't. That doesn't work that way.
Why
You're
not?
spreading fake news.
Yeah.
Fake... Listen, how's it fake?
This is how we
Why,
start the
if you-
podcast. Hello.
If you touch the golden Buddha's belly, you're going to get luck, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, we learn something new every day. We're only, just gone 2 minutes into the podcast, and we've now learned that if you touch the golden Buddha's belly, it's not good luck. It's
It's just
fake.
superstition. The only thing that comes good out of superstition is the song by Stevie Wonder. That's it.
Okay, so how you been anyway?
This week's been really, really busy, and I felt like I'm juggling way too many things. I think I've made mistakes, and I could have slowed down and taken more time instead of trying to get things done. I don't need to get things done as quick as I'm trying to get them done because I want to get them over and done with. And then sometimes I'm not doing them properly. I'm sort of half doing them. And then, of course, that causes problems later.
Because you are a very busy guy, and obviously you like to be busy because it also helps with your mental health. Do you think by being too busy, it's damaged your mental health a bit?
No, I think that other people, like, even today, like, I'm running late because some other people were running late in their life, which made me run late. So I couldn't do what I needed to do because other people were running late. And so that is going to have a knock-on effect till later. And also I've been up since 5:15. So, and I still didn't have enough time in my day.
You still... Well, it's only, 20 to 1 now? Or
Yeah.
25 to 1?
Yeah, but, like, I have physically been up for 8 hours. So,
I suppose, yeah, you've nearly done a full day at
yeah,
work
you know what I
already.
mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
so obviously I'm always good.
Yeah, every
Never have
time.
Bad days.
Never have a bad day.
Never.
Callan? Bad day?
No,
Good day?
not today. No.
Yeah?
I'm feeling quite at peace today. Actually,
Sorry, this week we're doing a week check-in.
Oh, it's the week check-in.
I
Well,
thought, I don't
No,
know.
just today.
I
I'm
swear
just
you
doing
just asked
today.
me
I'm
how
just
was your
talking-
day.
yeah.
Oh,
today.
I'm trying
He's
to
changing the rules halfway.
Yeah, I was saying, is there
Oh,
something wrong with
Callan's
my
is from the
ears?
weekend as well.
We're doing a check-in from the middle of the 2000s. How have you been?
Not too bad. So I mean, middle of 2000s.
You've grown
I
up a
mean,
little bit. You've
I was
got
a little bit
taller.
anxious because I was just starting secondary school.
Oh, did you have that?
What?
Did you have that jump anxiousness? Because I heard there was a big...
I was just like
A lot of my
just-
friends'
just
kids
saying rubbish.
properly had anxious moments starting from primary to secondary school.
I
I
mean,
can't...
I've had a few anxious moments, yeah, like in secondary school, but not from joining.
Yeah.
It was like just from being competitive and not wanting to lose, you know, that
Oh,
anxiety there.
I see. Okay, so we've done our check-in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Make sure you do your check-in at home. Talk to your friends and talk to your family as well. I think it's really important, isn't it?
It is important, and obviously, just by checking in on my friend this week, obviously it just popped into my head that, I haven't spoken for a while. Just check in.
Yeah.
He ain't doing good.
Right.
But kind of just by checking in on him, it made him. Well, his words was back. It's nice to know somebody cares.
There you go. Well, then that makes a massive difference. So I definitely would do that. We've got some topics to talk about,
Yes, we
and
have.
it is called Hot Topics.
Yes, the usual. Just speaking about things that are trending and putting a mental health spin on it. Today, we're just going to go for the one because it's quite a large topic to speak about. A few questions coming to the boys' way. It's going to be on Elon Musk, who's just obviously bought Twitter for $44.3 billion.
Cheap.
Yeah, crazy. His views on it for buying it because he wants to maintain free speech. Do you think having free speech in today's modern era has a negative or positive impact on mental health?
Scott, you go.
That's a good question, actually. I think it could be both.
Shocking. Isn't it shocking? There's a left and a right, and there's an up and a down.
Don't do your head in.
Yeah, if you pick one for this podcast.
No,
we
but I
can't
think
sit
that's a
on the
good thing.
fence.
What I'm saying is that is unbelievably fair. You're saying the right thing.
Sorry.
No, unbelievably
I thought you
saying
was
no.
having-
I wasn't giving you a hard time.
I thought he was giving me a hard time.
No.
Like that was a bit of a rubbish.
No, I don't think at all. I think you were completely and utterly right. It's so funny. If you look back in time and you look back of the right when it comes to politics or the left when it comes to politics, they've swapped roles. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
The left have always cared about free speech. Now they're trying to censor it because they don't like to hear stuff they don't want to hear. My problem about speech is this. If you allow people to carry on talking, in the end, the ones that are probably not going to last tie themselves up in nuts and they might have a quick burn and then that's it. They kind of stop. But if you stop them from talking and then you say their name and say how much you don't like them, you'll make them more famous.
Because
You will speak about them
isn't there a
more than
saying for
anyone
that?
else.
all publicity is good publicity, whether
Yep.
it's bad or good.
Yeah, because you're being talked about.
Yeah, you're trending.
Yeah.
But I think Elon Musk, by buying that,
Mm-hmm.
has a purpose, right?
Yeah.
You don't
and I
just
think
go
it's-
and spend X amount of money,
No. Well, he can, though.
but it is a free speech platform.
It should be. I don't think you should be banning anyone. I think
But
anyone can say
Facebook does,
whatever
all the others
they want. No, because what the problem about it is that we have all of these social media places that are private companies. They can do and say and have any rules they want to have. But in the end, they are our literal lives.
Mm-hmm.
They are the media. They are
they're telling
in our
you what you
hands, in our
can and
pockets,
can't
on our
talk about.
computers, everything. That's dictatorship. You cannot have that. It has to be a Wild West free-for-all of craziness. And then in the end, the best stuff always rises to the top and everything else just kind of just disappears.
So,
You know-
sorry, adding on from that, the UK government and European Commission have both reminded Mr. Musk of his duty to protect the rights of Twitter users. Online abuse is clearly a problem, and there have been regulations put in place, such as the government's online harms bill. Where do you think Elon will draw the line between free speech and protecting people from unnecessary abuse?
Mate, you don't have to be on it. Honestly, you don't have to
Well,
be
that's
on it.
kind of, without being rude,
Get off it.
Yeah.
My thinking is, trust me, I've probably have more bad publicity or more stuff written about me than most people I actually ever known. Okay? I've had some of the worst and some of the best things ever written about me and said about me on these platforms. And do you know what I don't do? I don't read it. And sometimes I delete it off my phone. And then I come back because it's yesterday's chip
do you
paper.
think that's a
a couple of
maturity
times.
level, though?
No, it's not maturity level. There's an element of everyone has this intrigue about what people think about them. They have that idea all the time. And it's so funny because when you're thinking about what people think about you, I ask this to many people, and I can ask it to you now, Scott, as well, and you, Callan, is that, are you the person that you think you are, or are you the person that other people think you are?
If you'd asked me that 2 years ago, I was the person that people think I am.
Right.
I am now the person that I am.
Is that what you would like to think, or that is the truth? Because the problem is, if everyone thought you were lovely, everyone thought you were really kind,
Yeah.
but inside you didn't think that,
No,
you are really kind.
so
because
2 years
everyone
ago,
else is
everything
seeing
was
that.
about the security, the
Yeah.
door world. You had to have a reputation.
Because that was
the
your job.
fighting.
That was your job. You
But
had to.
that's like, it's not the real me. Like my kids will say to you, they don't know that side of me. They know me as dad. They don't know, obviously, the door work and all that kind of bits and pieces. So they don't understand it.
Yeah.
But obviously 2 years ago, before lockdown happened and my mental health went bad and all the bits and pieces like that, I was what everyone expected me to be. The way I looked, the way I acted, the way I gave off the persona about myself. Now, I would feel like I've gone through the mental health breakdown as such, and I've now can be who I want to be. I don't have to live up to, like, perfect example, no one's going to always like you, yeah?
No, and nor should they.
But before, honest to God, and obviously this is where I kind of get with what Callan's asked, now, as a maturity, and gone through what I've gone, I don't fucking like that. Get rid of it. Get off the platform.
Yeah.
Delete it. Don't go back to it.
Yeah, I had a
But
problem
there's-
with TikTok. I had a problem.
2 years ago, though, I would have been, oh, fuck. I would have taken it personally.
Yeah.
You know, I would have really, it would have messed with my head. If I was at the wrong time reading a message, it would have messed with my mental health. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and adding on from that, a lot of the people, and touching on your point, a lot of the people that I'm thinking of, like Saka, Sancho, and Rashford, who missed the penalties for England, who got racially abused, they were 3 young guys, like younger than me. You two are a lot older than me, yeah. So you've got more experience.
A less of
coming from
the a
that-
lot, but whatever.
Got that maturity. So at their age, they're more likely to read that.
No, they're
And-
not. We haven't told them to not read it.
Yeah, I know.
There's
but
not
that's
about
That's your
maturity.
opinion. That's
no.
your opinion.
No. It is my opinion, and I completely get that, Callan. I do understand that. But if you are told don't touch the fire because it will burn your hand, that's not my opinion. That is what's going to happen, and that's the same with social media. Don't read it if you are soft-skinned and you cannot take it, right? Don't be on it. Don't touch the fire because it will burn your
Okay,
hand.
so let me flip it around. If when you were 20 years old,
Yes.
would you be more likely to have that same opinion now?
I don't think
100%.
Really?
Yes.
Genuinely?
Yes, because you have to be told it. You don't have it naturally. You don't know things naturally, normally. You have to be told stuff. And then you can do it. You're told sticks and stones may break my bones, right? You can take that truthfully or not, but you have to be told stuff. You can't just think it's just about maturity, because what we're doing is saying that young people can't be disciplined, cannot be not emotional. This is mental. We're talking about people in boxes. Everyone's individual. And if we're told, do you know what? If something's going down and something's happening, stand away from it. Don't read every single thing about yourself. We're not meant to. I think I said this before. We do this with our photographs and all the stuff. And if you take a photograph of someone, they're like, oh, I hate that photograph. There's no natural mirrors in nature. We're not supposed to be looking at ourselves this much. We're always, one of the nicest things that I notice and this is a tangent, right? Nicest things I notice, when you talk to old people on FaceTime, and they're like, the forehead's up there, or they're like, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh no, come on, like, I can't see you. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, and they're like, I can't. And they're, their screen's there, and you can't see them. And then the other side. Do you know the main reason why they do that? Because we just feel like they do it because they're old. It's not at all.
No, it's not.
Do you know what it is?
It's because they don't like looking at themselves.
No, completely wrong.
Because
go
they've
on.
not grown up with technology.
Nope. They're only looking at you. And the reason why we're center when we look at FaceTime is because we're only looking at ourselves. We're not looking at them as much. We're looking about where we are. Are we centered? How's the background looking? But they only care about you. And that is a generational thing, that we care about what we are all the time. And the generations just don't do that. You know what I mean? There's an element of thicker skin, because we need that. Because if you don't get bullied at school, you're not going to do well when you go to work and someone's horrible. What are you going to do? You need sometimes a bit of a shit time. You can't have it your way all the time.
And that,
'Cause
like
it-
you
it
said, that bad
builds you
time
up.
is coming from someone reading a tweet.
No,
They
your
might-
bad
they-
time's
they-
coming from your own family, mate.
Yeah,
Before a
yeah, I
tweet.
know, but
These are strangers. These are people at home doing nothing with their life, trying to say
yeah,
stuff.
I know. And it's
You will
easier
get
said
bullied
than-
at school and at work and at home more
What are
than
they
you will on
called?
the internet.
Trolls, aren't they?
Yeah, it is
Keyboard
trolls.
warriors.
Yeah.
But most
some
of them people
got
that write that won't do it to your face.
Yeah,
Never in a
of course
million
not.
years.
But people have got, like I say, different opinions, haven't they? Look how many people there are in the world. Not everyone's going to see it as you. That's why we do this mental health podcast, isn't it? Because we're trying to give people advice on different outlooks and how to cope.
Yeah, don't read it.
Yeah, but it's easier said than done, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Of course, but if you I don't want anything to happen to you that is bad. Because honestly, if you read something or you see, I remember seeing a video on YouTube or whatever it was, and someone sent it to me. You know when your mates send you like a gruesome video, and you're like, whoa. Like sometimes it's just naked people, and you're fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's extreme, and then sometimes you'll see something that you won't get out of your head for years.
Correct.
That's the same thing about. I'd rather someone say the worst thing to my face than to say it and see it being written down for everyone else to read. That is terrible. And this is one of the things, right? Now I'm back onto the situation. People are gonna say horrible things about you.
But also, right, so if I could go back and talk to myself now,
Yeah.
and I was on Twitter, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was back 2 years ago,
Yeah.
the advice I would give myself now is to take a break.
Yeah.
Switch
Have
it
a
off.
Kit Kat.
But that's easier. It's kind of, I think it does come with a bit of maturity. Them kind of platforms are,
100%.
for
yeah.
kids, they don't get it. Like, perfect example, my
I
son.
think we're downplaying kids on this a lot, though.
No. So this is where I've got 3 sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each one of them are different. They've all been brought
of
up
course.
roughly the same.
Yeah.
So if you went to my eldest,
Yeah.
Scott Thomas, he would go, I don't care.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother him.
Yeah.
But if you went to my youngest, Benjamin, he would take it to heart.
Yeah, but also
It would
he's been
destroy him.
oppressed by being the youngest in his family. All of them have been beating down on him. You know what I mean? Like, that is his
Yeah.
place. So he's going to take stuff hard than the person at the top who's had no one apart from you.
So you're saying other people like I've influenced. So, well, yeah, I suppose I have. But in the sense of when you've got Charlie, which is my middle child, middle son, he would go. It all depends on how he woke up that day.
How old is your youngest? Sorry.
So 14, 12, and 11.
So 14. So he's already saying that a 14-year-old is fine with it. But then you were saying, and you were saying that actually being mature is the reason why people are finding it harder and we would find it easier when your oldest, who is 14, goes, you know what I mean? Like,
So
this is
we're
what
picking
people
one,
are like.
One 14-year-old out of nearly 7 billion people in the world.
Why are we thinking about 7 billion people? We're talking about actual
We're
stories.
talking about in general. So you're basically summarising the whole thing.
No, we're
that
talking about
young
actual
people
stories.
Can't
Yeah,
go on
see-
Twitter and feel negative about their mental health because Scott's son's 14 and he said it's okay.
No, but we have an actual story from an actual person, and then you're picking out
So
out of nowhere. No. You're picking out of nowhere. I'm taking a story of what Scott has just said about his 3 sons, and we said in a situation, this right now, right? And this is what they say: tough times made tough people. So Granddad had tough times. It was tough times, and it made tough people. Like Granddad didn't say "I love you." He didn't say "I love you" to his
I'll
kids.
give you that.
No way.
My father.
No.
Never done it.
But then tough people make easier times.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I can't get it because obviously I tell my
And then
kids every
easier
time,
times
I love
make
it.
slightly a bit softer people,
Yeah, but again,
which then softer people make tough times again. You know what I mean?
well,
Like, that's
the
what
argument
happens.
I see
I mean,
from
that's
both
it's a
sides
theory.
of that.
It's a theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people will fall outside
Because my
that
middle
theory.
child, Charlie, right?
Yeah.
This is where obviously it does depend on what's happened to him
Yes, of course.
that day.
Of course.
So if he's had a positive day and he got something like Twitter and bits and pieces, someone's letting him off, it go.
Don't care.
But if he's had a bad day, someone, drama, a bit of other things, something other, and he's in a down day, it will destroy him like Benjamin. So 1 minute he can be like my son Scott,
Yeah.
and then he could be. So it does depend on one maturity. I get you that kind of thing, and how you're brought up.
Mm.
As in, my kids are taught to win. None of this, excuse me, French, bollocks where everybody's a winner.
Yeah,
Come on,
I
you get
agree
what
with
I
that.
mean?
I agree with that.
And obviously, that's where people like on Twitter have come across to them. But if they were one of these people that must, a bit like Scott Thomas, is you've been brought up in a sense of, and
Yeah.
then it won't affect you. But there's so many what I call softies in the world.
Because we are
created
all
them exactly with the theory you're saying.
We are all soft.
Yes.
We are all soft.
And everything has to be politically correct. Well, Callan, not
Well-
being funny, me and you don't always see eye to eye.
But you're not
And
meant to. That's how you learn. You meet in the middle. It's the best thing ever. You're not actually supposed to hang around with people who think the same as you, who are the
Right.
same as you.
That's
You will
the point.
be in an echo chamber and literally a nothing. You may as well not have an opinion if you agree all the time. Because guess what happens? I learn from you, and vice versa. Because that's what we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything we're talking about right now is free speech.
So I reckon, personally,
It is, but then that's what my original question was. Do you not think there should be a filter
No.
on free speech?
No, not
do you
whatsoever.
know what I reckon? Personally, this is what I reckon should happen. There should be a team set up. So when somebody like, say I'm on thing, you've put up, oh, Tottenham are the greatest, blah, 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 and I've come in and slated the team, bits and pieces.
What, a daily occurrence? What are you talking about?
But obviously, then I've turned it personal. A bit like what you said about the guys at Mr. Penalties, bits and pieces. I reckon there should also be people that are employed by Twitter to come back, find something on them, and literally have a go back.
They just can't. It's just so much stuff.
But it would stop if they realised that they couldn't, because there are hackers out there, isn't there?
No,
that go and find all the
everyone
crap.
should just be ID'd. Like, you have to have an ID situation, and you have to be liable for what you may say and do, but you can say anything.
But again, that's kind of backtracking what you said about filter. Why would you need an ID?
Because
Why
then-
would you
because
need to
then-
be liable for what you say.
Because then there's an element of
You've
that
not
you will
got
say,
any hidden bit.
yeah, you would less likely say things. People are saying stuff behind guises, behind computer screens, behind phones, because they have what's going to happen?
Yeah, I
Nothing.
suppose so.
You know
That's
what
a
I
good
mean?
point.
So
That's a
imagine
good
you
point.
had like you had to fill in
Yeah.
an ID thing, and that was linked to whatever, your driving license, your scores when you go to I don't know, to the cinema.
Which people would,
cinema.
so many of the people that have slagged you off, right?
Yeah.
And said bad things.
Yeah.
Would not, a good 90% of them would never have the bollocks to say it to your face. Physically stood in front
And
of
I
you.
don't mind if they did, because
No, but
maybe
obviously
it's
that's the same
true.
principle about the ID. I like the ID of what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Is the ID, because there's a person attached to it, like they can't hide.
No.
And the reason why you've got Twitter and stuff is they can physically be in any part of the world giving you as much shit. They getting a kick out of it, but I guarantee you they get off their keyboard and mum or dad or somebody or their bro, they're all lovely and polite because they don't want that image to be given. But everybody's got that.
What we're doing a lot now is we're showing what our kryptonite is. We're telling people
Exactly.
what will ruin us.
Yep.
And then people are like, I'll do that then. It's too easy. You know what I mean? I think we spoke about before. If you're going out with someone and you know that they don't have a great relationship with their mum, and you're just like your mum, you know you're going to push her in
I
a
did it
way.
to my ex-wife all the
Of
time. There's
course.
little things and she would do it to me.
But she told you. But imagine she's like, oh, yeah, my mum's great. I'd love to be like her. You couldn't use that, could you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have this thing that it's so easy. And yes, talking about the Rashford and the Saka and the Sancho situation, it is appalling. But it was definitely going to happen because we know it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I suppose where it would have affected them more as well, because their self-esteem would have been lower. Imagine the guilt from missing a penalty.
I think because three of
potentially
them
win-
missed a penalty.
Potentially win England's first major trophy since '66.
Yeah.
Other than the World
But
Cup.
do you not think we could educate people from a younger age?
No, because it only takes one to ruin the party. If you tell people how to ruin things, they will doing it. They can't
What I mean
not.
is, as in most kids now,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't think there's any one person we couldn't talk to, anyone. You could go up to anyone randomly on the street and say, what do you feel like when somebody, who's been everybody knows it existed, but they don't come off the platform. Everybody knows that there's arseholes in the world that are going to give you, but they still stay on that platform.
But you shouldn't. But what if they're not affecting you? This goes back to me following owls. You know what I mean? Like, people sometimes look for the worst thing. I've always said this before. Stop looking for the worst thing.
But isn't it coming with education on platforms about social media, bits and
You can
pieces like
educate
that?
as many people. If someone wants to be a negative Nelly on that thing and
course.
they go for you and make a name for themselves, they will win.
But do you
The
reckon?
person screaming the loudest always wins. Always wins.
Well, I suppose going back to the 3-player situation.
Yeah.
With the racial abuse that did come their way, someone did get 6 weeks in prison. So it's good to see that things
Oh,
like
really?
that.
I
yeah,
did not know
it's
that.
good, it's good to
Now,
see
they
that
didn't
thing.
publicise that.
Well, they
probably
did, but they
Yeah, it
probably
was on
just
the
not know.
news.
Yeah.
Everybody
It was
knew
on the
about
news.
the... Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is there was so much through Facebooks, Twitters, all that kind of stuff about what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't as much of what the person that got punished.
Yeah.
So obviously, I knew about the beginning bit. Everyone did. Everyone. There probably wasn't a person in England that didn't know what had happened.
But imagine we go and win the World Cup now. All those players look like only one's really going.
Yeah.
But all those players are like heroes.
I
You know what I
suppose
mean? Like, it's this story. You know, when Stuart Pearce scored a goal, when he missed a penalty and he scored a penalty the next Euros or World Cup, you know what I mean? Like, Southgate didn't get that chance, but Southgate missing a penalty shootout, then to becoming the England manager 20 years on and then getting us to a final and getting us to a semi-final, you can't make that shit up. It's incredible.
But do you not think anybody that's... here's a perfect example. You'll be able to answer this question.
Da-da-da.
That obviously, when you went on to the X Factor,
Yeah.
there must have been a team there that says...
Nah.
What? No, but hang on. What? So none of these famous people, footballers, singers, all that. Surely there must be somebody that's going to advise you.
Everyone sits at home at night time looking at stuff to shit. I would never, ever Google my name. You can. It's fine because it's not going to affect you. But then if you told me what you saw, that's a dick move.
So,
You know what I mean? So I just don't read
but
it.
would it affect you genuinely?
Yeah.
If I found something negative, who's like, oh, hang on, you
Yeah.
know, while he was out, he scratched his left ear, or do
What?
you know what I mean? Or
I only
got
did
caught
my right
picking
ear.
his- yeah, but,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
would it actually affect you?
Yeah, of course.
Would it affect? So, Callan, so say obviously you won X Factor or he's on X Factor.
I mean,
I
with
didn't win
this
it.
sort of voice, I'd be shocked if I didn't win it, to be honest.
Yeah,
Obviously
that's
the-
true. Facts.
Your
That's true.
personality of who you are, right? I don't think if I wrote all over Facebook, Callan, whatever, it was proper. I just think you would go.
They don't just go for you though, mate. They go for your friends. They go for your family. They go for anyone that they can get to get to you.
That's yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't always have to be you.
I mean,
It can be someone in around
takes
you.
a lot of training, doesn't it, to avoid that?
That's the word I'm looking for. Training.
Yeah.
Are you not given somebody that helps that?
They're- because
Surely there should be. That's a responsibility, is it not?
they still put on bleach, please don't drink. You know what I mean? You're like, we can't not do stupid things. And if we're at night time and we're thinking, oh, I'll have a little, don't do it.
Yeah, painting a different narrative in your head and not paying attention to the negativity isn't necessarily something that a lot of people can just do from tomorrow.
No,
it's
it's
a
not.
skill
It'll-
that needs to be built up.
Yeah, correct.
No, it's a thing of learning that
Which
When
is
you've done it, it's a bit like
exactly,
drinking
so it's a
alcohol.
skill that
I
needs to
can't
be
drink
built
10
up.
beers, so I only drink 4. You know what I mean? Like, I
But
can
doesn't
drink
that
10
come
beers.
with- obviously, drinking alcohol is the same principle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It comes with maturity, right?
No, it comes from it can come at any time. It just happens like it comes if it happens to you a few times. You're like, I don't like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be mature about it. It's just like it has to happen to you a few times. So you're like, don't do that again, because that's not good for me.
Yeah, it's a massive wormhole. I suppose we could keep talking about
We could.
relatable topics for
Da-da-da.
absolutely ages, but just to round up again from the Elon Musk thing, just to leave you with a little thought.
Go.
I guess difficult thing about free speech and
But surely,
censoring,
No,
like,
let me take-
censoring free speech, uncensoring it or censoring it, whatever it might be, would be you've got so many different people from so many different countries involved following different government policies.
Yeah.
So how would you put a procedure in place that
You
everyone's going to
can't.
follow? It's
you
not going to happen,
can't.
is it?
No,
It's impossible.
it's impossible. But my question is, right?
Mm.
He right now has bought that, right?
Yeah.
Do you reckon he's actually gone on Twitter himself to work out what people are saying?
What about
He's
himself?
very active on Twitter.
He's superly active.
yeah, but
he does
what-
read it. He says to Joe Rogan that he reads his stuff.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is he just bought it, yeah? So obviously there's going to be people slagging him off for doing
Yeah,
it,
hugely.
and other ones that, oh yeah, it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Mm.
So do you think it's going to affect him mentally, or do you think he generally couldn't give a shit?
Probably a bit of both. Probably a bit of both. Because the funny thing is, like I said, it only takes someone to say that one thing that you're not comfortable with to then stick on your head and be like, then you self-doubt.
Yeah, it's that I think it doesn't matter who you are in the world. I think everyone's got that one button.
Maybe 7.
Right, so that was obviously a busy topic, like I
That was
mentioned.
cool. I like
Um,
that.
Just move on, something different. Mental health exercise here.
we go.
I've got these
Breathing.
from listening to a podcast, Stephen Bartlett's podcast, The Diary of a CEO. Had a guest on it called Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, who hosts the Feel Better, Live More podcast. And he was telling Stephen a few exercises to do to get your mental in a certain way. I'm not going to read them all today, just because I can obviously carry on next week and the week after.
Perfect.
So I'll ask you this one. This one's quite short and sweet. Think of one. I'll ask both of you this. So just have a think about it, and then I'll come to both of you. Think of one value that defines you. not the be all and end all, the only one, but just one. Could be in any particular order. And every week, ask yourself, how did you align to that? So if I ask you, Scott, if you picked one value and you think about last week, and Monday you looked back on the previous week, do you think your previous week aligned to that value that you're thinking of?
Yep.
And what would yours be?
Loyal. That's also got me into situations.
Because other people aren't loyal, I guess, which is hard.
Yeah, so obviously anybody, especially like my ex-wife will probably tell you, is I've been loyal to people that I didn't see the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
And my problem is, if I won't allow somebody, if you're my friend, family, whether we see eye to eye all the time, I won't allow somebody else to screw you over. I'm loyal. I will never screw them over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good trait, but it's cost me a lot of friends, money, because...
It's because you have morals. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You have morals.
And obviously in situations, people have taken advantage of my loyalty, and especially in the last security job and everything I did, basically had me dangling on a hook because I was loyal. It turned out the job never even existed, and I've been doing a job that was for him. And obviously his boss was like, no, Scott, that you were doing his job, basically. But because he was my best friend and I was loyal to him, I wouldn't let anybody say negative about him because he's my mate. If you've got a problem with him, like as if you're on the door in bits and pieces, he was getting his head smashed in, and I was the first one there. Even though I could, you should have got everyone out of the way. It was a bad situation, and we got hurt. But because he was my mate and I'm loyal, I was going nowhere. And it's got me hurt. It's cost me money. It's cost me friends. It's cost me relationships from being loyal. But I won't change it, because I think if there was more people that had morals and were loyal, the world would be a better place, right?
And coming to you, Daniel, what would your value be, and how have you aligned to that or not aligned to it without beating yourself up over it? Obviously, something which, if you have not aligned to it, you look back, right, what did I not do to align to it, and how can you put that in effect over the next few days for the rest of the week?
I think I'm relatively quite thoughtful. And I think that I've always relatively put other people in front or thought about things for them. And that would be people I love, people I don't know. I will notice things in and around me of people's sadness or someone needs help in that moment more than probably anyone else I know. And it's not even intentional. I don't even look for it. I sometimes just sense it or just see it. And it'd be as simple as someone else. I'll be on the train and I'll get to the end of get off the train, walk towards the end of the platform, and then realise there's steps at the end. And I'll stop. And my friend will be like, what are you doing? I was like, I saw a lady back there. She's got a massive case. She's not going to be able to take it up the stairs. So I'll help her.
That's not a bad trait.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's an
agree, I'm
element of
similar.
thoughtful. And it's really, yeah, exactly. And there's and those sort of things. And my friend's like, my friend the other day, Heather, she said, I notice things more now because I hang out with you. I never realised. But at the same time, sometimes your thoughtfulness, you might actually want back, and you might not get it from the people that you want it from. And that's a tough thing.
And that's when I guess it turns negative. If you're being nice to someone and expecting it back,
You shouldn't expect it back.
yeah, that's when it gets a bit of a poisonous.
See, I
trait.
kind of get what you do, because obviously, like, I'll drive and see that there's about 6 or 7 cars that go in front of this person that's trying to get out, right? So I will purposely let them out.
Yeah.
Because then I hope that one day or that
They
day or
pass it
later on,
forward.
someone will do it to the next one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not for something for me. It's so you can start. I'm kind of curious. It makes it. Would that start a chain throughout that day? Could you follow
On
it?
them.
And it changed that next person's let somebody else out, or
Yeah.
done some good to somebody else because you've done a positive and you've made them feel that just for that second, that little bit. Thanks, mate. I weren't getting out. The traffic was going to let him out. All for one space.
And it's not just having an effect on them, it's having an effect on you. All these little things which you're doing to help other people are giving you a bit of positivity and making you see
yeah, it's a good feel factor, right?
as a good person. Yeah.
As long as the other person takes it well. Because if you could be as loyal to someone and they're not loyal back, or they don't pass it on, or I go and help someone and they're like, are you okay? Like, I don't mind. Like, no, I can do it myself. Like, you have to be okay to let that go and be like, that's okay.
I'm one of these
I
people.
struggle with that.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
How hard is
Leave-
that?
I always do it, like holding the door open for people. You know how it is, and they just walk straight through.
You're like, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, with loyalty,
I mean, my language is a bit more colourful than that. But
you can imagine, right?
I think we're all sassy in here. I know I might get the most sassiest points, but you're not too far behind you two, I have to say. We're all quite freaking sassy.
It does do my head in. If I'm walking through, women especially, you open the door for them, right? Because you even perfect example here. I opened the door, held the door, or they were a little bit further back, and she just walked straight through.
no.
Her friend went, "Oh, thanks."
Well, in BizSpace,
Yeah, in
out them on the podcast.
There might be a new sponsor, don't do that. I think sometimes it's a difficult thing when it comes to those sort of things that bring chivalrous and saying, like, getting up on the train and be like, would you like my seat? And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they find it quite offensive. That's fine. I don't mind, because I'm not going to be upset with whatever you're going to throw back, because I've already thought about it, that you're going to be like, no, I'm fine. I'm not even old. But someone might go, thank you so much. I've been traveling for the last 4 hours and no one's asked me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that one fact.
and that's enough. That would last
They
me for
might
a
do
year.
that for somebody else that they
Yeah,
realise.
and that could
that's
change
it.
someone's whole day,
I like that.
you say.
That one thing could stop somebody that's having. They could, right? You've been stood. You say you're doing an 18-hour day.
Yeah.
You've come along. They're on the train. Blah. That one thing, they could thought the world completely helped, and they were actually having suicidal thoughts, whatever. Bad. That one magical.
Sometimes I don't ask them. I just say, I'm getting off next stop. I'm not. Take my seat. I'm getting off next stop. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want my seat? It may be offensive. I'm getting off next stop. Take it. They're like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Because then they think that's cool. But instead of you're offering because they're a woman, or because they're a child, or because they're old, you're just
So
doing
would you
nice.
offer me a seat? Be honest. If you see me on a train, would you go, mate? Do you
No,
want
I don't think I would. Depends what you had with you. Like, if you had your kids with you, 100%. 100%.
But
I'd
if it
offer.
was just me by myself,
No. I wouldn't offer Callan a seat either.
No. I mean, I've been in a situation before, and even my mates, like, I mean, it says something really. Like a few years ago, I was on crutches. No one even a couple of them didn't even offer me a seat.
Yeah, I fell over in Reading and people just stepped over me. I fell down the
It's
stairs at the train
mad.
station.
It's
People just
mad.
stepped over me. Didn't
but
care.
it is mad, and that to me, right, is where I'm loyal. If I didn't get that, I'm one of these people. I'm loyal to the bitter end. But once you've lost my loyalty, it will never go back. Never. You might as well just stop talking to that person, because I will never ever trust them.
Oh
again.
no, I'm quite chill. I'm quite good at forgiving.
Nah.
Anyway, sorry. Here we go.
Just to finish off the podcast, we're going to go on to the words of wisdom. I'm going to kick it off today, which relates back to Dr. Rangan Chatterjee again with his quote, which I really like. You're never going to be the person you want to be without realizing who you are right now.
Ooh.
Powerful that.
That is quite a.
Then you can fill in the blanks.
To the listeners, sit there, have a think about who you want to be in the future, what you're doing right now. Is it going to get you there? Maybe not. How can you change it and move forward?
I like that. That's good.
It's not a bad one.
I
Go on.
felt like, when someone goes, does a tree make a sound if it falls and no one hears it? That's what Callan is to me. Like, oh, wow. I feel enlightened.
I mean,
I feel
that
like
is
my
quite a
next
good
one's going to
one,
be
I'll give it.
rubbish.
I mean, I haven't actually come up with any quotes on this whole show. They've just come straight from my phone or from media. So
You don't
I
have
do
to come up with
appreciate
them. You don't have to come up with them. You can just give us the information that we didn't have in front of us, and you gave it to us. You're informing us. I like that.
The only thing I would say,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this relates to mental health. Well, I suppose it does.
Yeah.
Is be true to yourself. That's the only thing that I learned from. Like we've just, obviously Twitter. I know we're going back, but in the sense of now, I couldn't care what people think. I genuinely.
Have you ever written anything horrible on the
Yeah,
internet?
yeah.
I never have.
Not to somebody I don't know.
Maybe I never have, because when it all came about, I was like, Twitter was 1 year old. when I get into the X Factor. So there was no space for me to write anything crazy. So my motivational thing that I wrote down, which is and it kind of links back from what you did said before, but it's to be helpful even if you don't need to be. So do stuff even if you don't need to.
That's beautiful, and that's a great way to round off the podcast. Thanks for listening again, guys. Podcast will be up tomorrow, Thursday, as always.
Loving it. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Callum.
mate.
There you go. Let's fight it out. Let's write some really horrible stuff on Twitter.
See
I'm
you
joking.
later.